My first attempt ended spectacularly. Okay, let's see if we can pour here. Hello everyone, and welcome to a somewhat atypical Collodion chat. Today's video is going to be just kind of a voiceover of me just yapping over some footage of the Florida Wet Plate Day 2025, which we just had in Orlando. So this is an event that was postponed last year because we had some cancellations. So we kind of pushed it into this year, and in 2025, we were lucky enough to have this lovely studio volunteered by Aaron Van Photography, who is also present at the meetup. You'll see him later in the footage here. But yeah, we got together, we had a great time, and I decided to bring a GoPro just to capture some footage of the day. And what I was planning to do was to pretty much just set it on like a little gorilla pod and, kind of catch some footage throughout the day from a static position. But Charles was kind enough to grab the camera and kind of walk around with it and get some shots as we went. So that's what you're seeing here. And the first thing we got is me messing up an 11 by 14 pour. It had actually been a couple of months at this point since I poured a plate. And my 11 by 14 technique still kind of needed some work. So I haven't honestly poured a ton of 11 by 14s at this point. But this is my third one of the day. I'm kind of starting to get it down a little bit, starting to get a feel for kind of moving the puddle as I pour. But I made a lovely mistake this time, which is I just didn't have enough collodion in my pour bottle. So here you see me kind of trying to stretch, not really enough collodion to cover a plate. But we're kind of sort of making it work. This is not my proudest collodion moment. You see me flowing it back across the plate there. But, I got the whole thing to connect, and I think the image actually turned out pretty okay at the end of the day. So a little bit of spill there too. Like I said, not my proudest moment. Later in the day, I did some better pours, but this one, these first couple, could have been better. But hey, what are you gonna do? So we're here at Aaron Van Photography. That's Aaron there to my right in the frame. And he is a commercial photographer. He does a lot of food and beverage work, which means that he has this lovely studio, which also has, you will see it attached here, a commercial kitchen. Now, obviously a purpose-built darkroom is the best possible place to process plates, but I'm pretty sure a commercial kitchen is the second best. And we were in fact able to black this space out and use it for processing, which was just fantastic. So you can see some more of the studio space here. A couple of camera stands, also Aaron's, that he let us use. Unbelievably convenient. So you see we got a pretty good turnout. We had several photographers, several models. And here is me topping off my Collodion pour bottle with a little bit of product placement, some UVP number Z. Love that Collodion. Not sponsored, but if Brian wants to write me a check, I wouldn't complain. Now we're back inside. Here's me being a little bit of a dork about drying rack construction. And here is Aaron rinsing out some plates. You can see we've got a nice little plate rinser set up here. Great big old sink, plenty of room to rinse plates. And here is that pivotal moment, pouring fixer on one of these great big 11 by 14 plates. And this fixer at this point was used for a test plate the day before. I think it's already been used for a couple of 11 by 14s and a couple of 8 by 10s at this point. And as you can see, it is starting to get tired. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed the video up here until we have a clear image. And there it is in all its glory. Still definitely getting used to this format, but I've got to say, I really love these giant plates. A little more expensive, a little more work, but it's hard to beat. And now we are giving it a good rinse, swapping out the plates in the plate rinser. And now I am making another attempt at an 11 by 14 pour. Now the wind is not doing me any favors here. And you can see I poured a little bit too fast at the beginning. It kind of got away from me. And I'm letting the puddle get off to the wrong corner, which I don't love. I'm kind of not super satisfied with this pour, but it is at least workable, you know? Got a little bit more open space towards the edge there than I would like, but at this point I'm pretty sure I can lift the plate and everything will close up. And sure enough, I lift it up, pour off the excess, and that wasn't the corner I intended to pour off of, but it worked. Yeah, got me a good enough plate. So here we are back inside. Aaron is processing a plate in his dark box here. And it's got a lovely big old viewing window here, so we can actually see him pulling the plate out of the bath. I believe he actually designed and printed that dip tank himself as well. Here we go straight into the plate holder. Gotta remember to wash that or dry that back off next time, but this will work. And here we go, opening up the box, pulling out the plate holder, and we're good to go. Meanwhile, I am framing up our model Stephanie on the 11 by 14 camera here, which is an absolute monster to work with. The camera stand was an enormous help. Here's Aaron setting up for a shot on the 4x5. Boom. A lot of strobe power going on in that room today. Aaron had a bunch of bronze colors. I also brought some Speedotron packs for the big old 105 head to use with the 11 by 14. So here we are developing that 4x5 of Stephanie. And again, thanks to Aaron's dark box, we can actually kind of see what's going on here. And in just a second, we will also see the image. Really appreciate Charles going around and collecting this footage, because not only do I have more footage than I probably would have gotten myself, but I also get to see what was going on while I was otherwise engaged. So here we go. There's very clearly a nice strong image on that plate. Getting it rinsed off into a tray of water. And now that'll be safe to come out into the daylight. And as we come out here, we can go into the fixer tray. Oohs and ahs all around as that image comes out nice and clear. Let's see what we got here.
And I poured the plate okay too. It's a good plate.
Just a few seconds to fix, and look at that. We got a lovely 4x5 plate. Nice and clean, nice and bright. Not much to complain about here.
That's all right. Happy to be wrong. Not
And
over
my eyes are open.
We've got detail in the hair.
Wow.
It's impressive, yeah. That's not bad. I like it.
Oh, you can even see the victory rolls.
Yeah, in the hair.
Yeah.
Like that black, that dark hair, I'm actually kind of surprised we got some detail in there. That's really good.
And we've got the big reveal, oohs and ahs. Congratulations all around for one lovely plate.
Looks great. Do I have teacher approval?
Now we're back to the 11 by 14 with Stephanie. I am loading the plate holder. I didn't realize she was moving around while I did this, but she did a great job of getting back to her original position because the focus was spot on for this one. So I had to use a step ladder with this camera stand. Just an absolutely absurd thing to operate. And now we're in the dark room. It's going to be a little bit difficult to see the image come out, but I think we still got something on the camera here. So let's see here. And you can see on that plate where I accidentally stuck my thumb on it while I was prepping it. No plate can be perfect, right? There we go, getting that rinsed off. little extra rinse from the handy sink sprayer there.
That looks pretty good, doesn't it?
And now we're back to daylight. At this point we can open up the darkroom and let everyone in for the fixer pour, everyone's favorite event. And there we go. We've got a nice clear image on an 11 by 14 plate. This was one of my favorites of the day. And we're off to the rinse. Meanwhile, Sabrina's getting ready to shoot a 4x5 over here. And here we have this photo of Stephanie in the rinse. Not sure if this is just a me thing or a wet plate photographer thing in general, but I feel like we spend a lot of time pointing our fingers at images submerged in shallow trays of water. Maybe just me, but I'm pretty sure I've seen others do it as well. I guess this is what happens when we get together. Gotta point out your favorite imperfections. Anyways, I was pretty happy with this photo. And now we're back out here. Erin is making a plate of Olivia. This one's on the 8x10. And pop. Lots of strobe power. We've got some more portraits in progress here. This is Thurl, one of our other models. I think we've seen all of them at this point. That's Olivia in the background, Thurl here, and Sabrina's getting ready to expose an 8x10 plate of him. Boom, pop go the strobes. And now that plate has been developed, just giving it a good rinse. And we get to see that go into the fixer. As always, everyone's favorite part of the process.
I'm just using the BNS.
Really nice plate of Olivia there in the background as well. Here we see this one coming out nice and strong. Beautiful clean 8x10 plates that Sabrina's making here. And now for the last thing that I filmed that day, we have the group photo. So we all kind of set up in one of these little strips of pseudo wildlife they like to put in between parking lots here in Florida. Stephanie's husband came along and was very supportive that day. So here I'm showing him how to take the lens cap off to expose this image. I think what we ended up going with was 6 seconds at f32, I want to say. UVP number Z, fast as always. And here we are getting ready for the exposure. I'm not sure why I decided to carry the dark slide with me, but here we go. And with that, the photo is done. This wasn't the end of the day. We still made a few more plates. We were definitely starting to wind down at this point, and I wasn't capturing a whole lot more footage. Really just the processing of the group photo. So we're going to see that come out in the fixer. After this, we, start to wind down, make our last few plates, and begin the somewhat arduous cleanup process. So when this finishes clearing, I'm going to go ahead and close out with a scan of the group photo. And just some parting words here. I want to say a big thanks to Erin Van Photography. Erin, the studio was fantastic. I really can't overstate how instrumental it was in making this day go off without a hitch. Big thanks to our models who came out, and we got some great plates of you. And of course, to all the photographers who showed up and made the day a success. I know there aren't a ton of wet plate photographers in Florida. Our population size and age notwithstanding. So it is really, really fantastic to see this many of us get together in one place, make some plates, point our fingers at images in shallow trays of water, as we are wont to do. And hopefully we can get together again and do this soon. So with that, I will say goodbye. And to everyone out there, hope you have a good time making some plates. Until next time.